My shop has been without an air compressor for far too long. I want to say hello to the brand new air compressor of Samcraft, the Makita model MAC210Q. Hey everyone, my name is Sam and welcome back to Samcraft. That's right, I have finally gotten to the point where I need an air compressor. I had one in my old shop, gave it away whenever we moved, and thought I could get by, but oh no, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. This is the MAC210Q model. It has a maximum output power of 800 watts. It runs 2 cubic feet per minute at 90 psi, has a cut-in pressure at 105 psi and a cut-out pressure of 135 psi. It runs off of a 120 volt single-phase electric motor at 60 hertz with an RPM of 1,750 RPMs for the compressor. This is an oil-free compressor. The tank size is 2 gallons, and the overall weight of this is 45.2 pounds or 20.5 kilograms. The overall dimensions are 17 and 3/8 inches long, 16 and 7/8 wide, and 13 and 5/8 high. So you're basically looking at a 17.5 by 17 by 13.5 compressor size. My workshop is only 12 feet by 20 feet and is a small shop. Therefore, I needed and was looking for a small air compressor. My needs for an air compressor are nothing where I need a lot of CFM ratings. I don't have any large air tools, and I don't really intend on using this for anything other than air nailers, the occasional blowing off of dust, and small things like that. Perhaps even airing up tires here and there. But overall, I don't need a large tank capacity or a high CFM rating. The number one thing that I looked for with an air compressor is I wanted a quiet one. I previously had a really loud older one, and when that thing kicked on, it would scare you to death. This little guy here, being the quiet series, is supposed to be 60 decibels. I am going to be putting that to the test. I have a sound meter. We will have it here. We'll fire it up and we'll test whether or not it's truly a 60 decibel compressor. Spinning the compressor around here, you can see it has an onboard power cord storage. I really like that. It's got the power switch here on the right side. The back's pretty well cleaned up, and over on the left, the only thing to speak of is that's where your pressure release or pop-off valve lives. Underneath the tank on the front is a quarter turn quick air release or drain valve. That is extremely handy and nice because with compressors, the number one thing you want to do is to drain the tanks ever so often to get the moisture out of there and prevent rusting and issues. Here on the front of the machine, you have one connection port to put your tools, connect your hose, or anything like that. You have 2 gauges. The one on the left is for your tank pressure. The one on the right is for your tool pressure, and here in the middle is the knob to adjust the pressure regulation for your air tool. I like that it's a simple interface. I like that everything is here right up front. I have my pressure control, my power switch, and my drain valve right here, right up front. This little guy is also pretty compact and portable, so that is going to be helpful for me in my small shop as I find a place for this to live. Alright, I think the first thing I want to do is plug it up, get my sound meter, and let's really check, is this a 60 decibel or less air compressor? Let's find out. Alright, I have my sound meter here. Go ahead and get it out of its box. Nothing super fancy, nothing very expensive, but hey, it does work. I'm going to go ahead and also scoot the compressor back just a little bit so it's not right here at us, because I want to get some sound ratings at, let's say, direct tool area and maybe 2 feet away and then 6 feet away. We'll see what the difference is from those distances. Alright, we'll go ahead and turn on the sound meter. Alright, our ambient reading is at 34. I've got it set to show us our maximum decibel rating. Right now, as this thing is sitting there and I'm talking, I'm at 72.8 decibels. So I guess I'm kind of loud. In theory, I'm louder than the compressor, but we're about to check that out. All right, let me reset the maximum, and then I'll be quiet. I'll reset the max, and we'll flip the switch on this compressor. Alright, 78.4 on your initial startup. That's a lot louder than 60 decibels, but they probably didn't measure the sound a foot away from it. One thing I will note is that when you first turn on a compressor, there's a lot of different air leaking sounds. Until it gets up to like maybe 10 to 15 psi, it seems like it's noisier. Then they kind of quiet out from there. That's the reason I also went ahead and turned off the switch before it reached its maximum 130 psi. It's right about 50 now. I want to do another test, same distance, from 50 and see if it's any quieter. Alright, so what I saw here on the sound meter was that running, it's about 70 to 71 decibels. I think some of the loudness is coming from it being on top of this work table that I've built, because it's given some resonance as it vibrates and kind of making it sound like a drum. What I want to do next is sit this over in the corner on the floor of my workshop and get a couple of different sound readings from over there where it's on a more solid surface. I have the air compressor set over there at the floor. What I'm going to do is set the sound meter about 4 to 5 feet away from it on top of my work surface here, point it right at it. I have you guys where you can see the sound meter. We're going to turn on the air compressor by simply plugging the cord into the wall and see what kind of readings we get from there. Okay, right now ambient sound room is around 34 decibels, and as I start to talk I can see it spike up to about 67. We'll go ahead and turn it on and see what kind of readings we get. Alright, what I want to do next, we'll call it the talk test. I'm going to talk to you normally. We'll see if you can still hear me when this kicks on. There's going to be a little bit of the microphone and the camera doing some magic, but otherwise I'll try my best to get an idea of how loud it is if I'm talking to you, and honestly, it's within 3 feet. So, once upon a time, there was a place where it never rained. The end. I don't know. Maybe it's loud, maybe it's not. Probably at this point the camera has picked up and has adjusted the sound levels where you can hear me, but I would say if I was gauging this as another person, this is another person's volume. It's probably a little bit louder because this guy's got some throaty bass, especially on top of this table, and I don't really have that kind of throaty bass, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Otherwise, I'm just waiting for it to get up to pressure. I really don't have any other stories to tell, and we're all just awkwardly looking at each other or fast forwarding through all of this just for the sake of the video to maintain your retention as an audience member. That's really important, to make sure I give you something that's entertaining to watch, informational, or somehow keep you stuck around in this video long enough so YouTube gives me a high five and sends other eyeballs my way. Pretty important nowadays. There we go. I definitely think Makita is as loud as I am in talking, if not more, so don't know if it's so quiet. Alright, now let's go ahead and plug something into this, right? I have an air hose here. Something I really like about this is the type of fitting here is just a push to connect. You don't need two hands for this. You don't have to hold the collet back. It's literally just push it in and you're in. That is awesome. That is so handy. I can't tell you the number of times that I've struggled and fought with these fittings over the years. That is really nice. Another thing is, it's a one-handed release. Pew! Pew goes the air hose. So that is very cool. It definitely is helpful, and it's another user experience feature, I think, of a design that's really nice. Here in the middle, the air pressure regulator for the tool is very smooth, very easy to adjust. You get very fine control, and it's very nice. To say very, a whole lot. Let's go ahead and dial this up to 90 psi. While that's not really what you want to run on your air hose, it will give us an idea of runtime on a 1 gallon tank, full bore with an air nozzle. How long will this thing actually run? I have the tank full. The pressure regulation on the tool is set to 90 psi. I want to just hold down my air nozzle handle and see how long it takes before this will kick on. So how much runtime will I get out of this at 90 psi? We'll let it fill back up. I'll turn the tank off. Then we'll do a separate test on how long this thing will run just from full to empty without refilling. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, 90 psi, it only lasted 3.2 seconds until it kicked on. I've tested this a few times off camera, and it doesn't matter what pressure you have set to your tool, this compressor kicks on when it hits 90 psi and turns off at 130. So from that standpoint, this thing is going to cycle quite a bit if you're using a large bore air tool or a large air... What is this? Tools such as air nailers and stuff are not as wasteful with air, so they should last longer between cycling processes or cycles. What I'll do now is flip the compressor off, and let's get a runtime just from full tank until empty. I know it's going to be a little bit subjective, you know, what is empty, where do you want to stop at, but I'm just curious, how much usable air pressure can I get out of this from the 2 gallon tank? We'll go ahead and stop it there. About 26 seconds is what you're going to get. If you're using this as an air blower, dusting off things, you know, getting sawdust off of things, you can probably figure on 26 solid seconds at 90 psi. Let's go ahead and dial this down to, let's say 50. Let's see how long we get on that. Any longer than 26 seconds? Let's find out. Alright, that's going to be about it on usability. We got almost 45 seconds worth of runtime. So having your PSI dialed down on your tool will definitely lengthen the runtime. Well guys, I think that's probably all I can really cover about an air compressor, and I don't want to drag the video on longer than it really needs to be. This is another look at the Makita MAC210Q Quiet Series. As we found out, it's not really 60 decibels unless I guess you're 8+ feet away, but either way, it is a lot quieter than any other air compressor I've owned. I love the small size of it. For me and my needs and my demands from an air compressor, it's going to be perfect. It is portable, it is relatively lightweight, and this is a thing that is going to live nice and neat somewhere in the workshop without getting in my way, yet still remain portable enough I can take it to the house. I can take it anywhere else if we're doing projects and need air power. I got it, ready to go. I did buy this with my own money after researching because I knew Makita was a reputable brand and it was a pretty good reviewed tool, and I'm happy with my purchase. If you are interested in checking this out, I'll put a link to this model down below, as well as any other Makita Quiet Series compressors. If you have this tool and you've had it longer than me, which is about, well, 5 hours now, let me know what you think. Have you found things that are good, bad, ugly? Found any way to get it quieter? Let me know. I'm curious and I'm very eager to learn from you guys too. Otherwise, appreciate you watching. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you guys next time in the workshop. Beam me down, Scotty! You there yet?